Alright, well, it's fun to look at. I don't know that I necessarily want to buy one for that price, but we have enough blankets. Besides, you can make one.
I have actually
Get to work and make blankets.
Actually, I have 2 fabrics with his art printed on it.
Do you?
I do. Yeah, I have orange and then I have a bluish one. I've been afraid.
We have Alex Grey ones?
Yeah, I have 2 meters.
Well, we wouldn't need to cut into it. We wouldn't need to cut into it. Just make a blanket out of it.
It's too small for a blanket.
Just put them together.
And it's knit.
Okay, so just...
It's cotton lycra.
Alright, well, we're not cutting it apart. So, Alex Grey is the...
It'd be really fun to make a hoodie, though.
Alex Grey is the artist who does all the artwork for Tool. So when you look at Alex Grey's artwork, it's Tool. So you get songs like Schism, Vicarious, Stuck in Your Head, because it's Tool. We just started.
I know, but...
How many does she want?
Just more.
Is it somebody you've already made some for?
No.
No?
Not her specifically.
No, charge her double. Whatever you got paid for the last nurse that came over, you double it.
Okay, so still 0. Okay, got it.
Okay, 2 times 0 can't be 0, because it's double it. So it should be 1. I'm pretty sure if you take 0 and you double it, it's 1. I'm pretty sure about that. Alright, so... And then I was happy today, too. I found on a website, there's a Van City Sports website that had Kansas City Scouts in blue. Yay. And the California Golden Seals, the original in green. Yay, because I haven't seen those in a long time.
I didn't brush my hair.
So, Kansas City Scouts and California Golden Seals. Yay. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my new Michael Scott shirt and my new jeans. More of the ripped jeans. And see, there's another pair right beside you that are exactly the same. See up on top?
Yeah, and they have the weird holes.
Yep.
It's so bizarre.
Yep. And they're in all the exact same spots. So I've got a hole right here.
The same form.
Yeah.
I don't have any pants with holes in them.
You're not trendy like I am.
Apparently, I'm not cool enough for that.
Midlife crisis right here.
I have Rainbow Bright pants on though, so.
No, that's your midlife crisis. Sure.
Whatever midlife. I've been wearing Rainbow Bright pants since I was little, so.
Still midlife crisis. That's probably the nurse again.
Yep.
Or it's a different one.
Nope, it's the same one.
Oh, man.
She's just asking if you have any. We would love some. I said, of course. Always do.
Tell her you charge double now. 2 times 0 equals 1. All right. So here we go into the book again. How many are we going to get into? We'll end up getting into chapter 5. Honestly, it kind of flies from here. Because I set up this whole plot line and I'm like, all right, now we're going to motor through this. Gora enters some numbers and gets ready to set the ship in motion, but Addison steps in between him and the board. Are you kidding? This puts us close to Altil. No chance, Gora. Let's end this charade right here and now, he says towards Mike. Gora raises his hands, doesn't get upset. See, I'm asking you to help me save my father. You're asking me to help bring your friends back from the future. I must see this as a deal and not as me giving in to you so you can throw me back into a jail cell. You are going back in the cell, Mike explains. I can't release you. If you thought we were negotiating a deal to free you for good, you're mistaken. You told me that you could bring our friends back, and now you want us to go to Altair and help save your father in the future? Your father died during a battle on Altair. Rebels attacked an installation there, and Geyer died. Gora actually manages to smile, which is risky with so many people around him who want to kill him. That's the story I put out there. I had actually lost my father sometime before that. By stating he had been killed by Altarians, that allowed me to strike against them with a fury that our people otherwise would never have agreed to. I was playing politics, and I was playing all of you. Which is why we can't take the risk right now, Addison says. You state your ability to play people while you're trying to get us to go to your homeworld. Gora sighs. Look, I know what's on the line here, and I'll tell you this. Your friends are 200 years in the future. My father died in that same time frame. General Translow unwittingly sent them there, to the same point where my father entered the future, and I see this as a chance to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, as Earthlings say. How did that happen? Mike asks. Still not certain he could trust a word that comes out of Gora's mouth. Gora actually sits down in a nearby chair meant for the navigator of the Vindicator. They're still playing a game of cat and mouse. Gora just wished he was in a better position of power here. If he had access to a firearm, he'd likely try to shoot them all and return to his homeworld where he'd kill Sabal and take his rightful place on Altil as their leader. The prophecies were a mess now. Gora was certain he was supposed to lead his people into a great future that was set to take place, and that he was supposed to kill the one who could stop the Altilian military from dominating the galaxy, and that one had to be Addison Marks. The fact he'd been imprisoned, even if he'd killed a lot of Earthlings in the process, took him out of the picture as the rightful leader when they won the war and took over the galaxy. He was dying inside at the thought of Sabal leading them to this grand fate that the universe had set out before them. As he sits on the bridge of the Vindicator, he thinks of how wrong this is. He knows how this is supposed to go from the videos his father had brought back from this first foray into the future. Gora knows Altil will win this war and that it needs to be fought the right way, or Falteres will gain the edge and actually get the final victory. His father had made Gora promise to not give them a chance to win in the end. As he sits here as a prisoner of Earth and Falteres, he already feels like he's failed his father and needs to regain his standing at any cost. It's a fine line he has to tread here. He has no help. He has to help them, but he has to help himself. It's about his freedom and making miracles happen so that he fits into the prophecies yet again. His father had made it clear to him since an early age that was more important than anything else, that he had a very special place in the galaxy. This is all about restoring his legacy. Sabal doesn't have access to everything he might expect. There are certain files I made certain he could not have in his possession, or anyone except mine anyway. This is something I was told to do by my father years ago, and I never take any advice he gives me for granted, Gora explains. So where are those files, Mike asks, trying not to lose his patience. He'd spent enough time with Gora to know he can't trust him. No matter how much he needs to trust someone right now, he knows that this individual will do anything in order to achieve his own personal goals. He has to offer something here, but is rather touchy when making a deal with the devil. He tries not to look at Addison since he would just get a glance of "I told you so" anyways. He has to remain focused on Gora and on using him to get his friends back from wherever and whenever they are. Next scene. Kelsey Hart's the youngest in a family of 4, and she stands now with her sister Katie watching a hopefully friendly Altilian ship make its way towards them. She came here for the rest of the world outside that visits. She came here for the rest from the world outside that visits to her eldest sister usually provides. There are those with difficult childhoods, even in an Eden such as this. Kelsey was raised by her father, while Katie and her 2 brothers have been raised by their mother after a nasty divorce. Kelsey's decision to stay with her father had been due to a lack of a real relationship with their mother, and the law gave the children the right to decide who stays with which parent after the age of 10. Kelsey's father had raised her to be independent and able to defend herself if she had to. These visits had helped to ease relations between Katie and Kelsey. They'd actually grown close and found some common ground now as adults, though Kelsey had to deal with Katie viewing her as a child whenever an important decision had to be made, and this was no different. There was a gun in Kelsey's right hand, one which she knew how to use if she had to, and yet Katie had told her to keep it lowered and not raise it unless she was forced to. Kelsey knew how vicious Altilians could be and wanted to be at the ready. Gun raised at any potential target. She felt this kind of thing was this was folly at best. Trusting these aliens was going to get people killed, and she had no intention of having her final day here and now so early in what she wanted to be a long life. There was the occasional reassuring look from Talia, though, while they stood and waited for their visitors. In her interactions with Talia, Kelsey had actually found a woman who was very much like herself. They'd spent many hours just talking and sharing experiences from their past, and seeing Talia today wasn't turning out to be as relaxing as it usually was. At the forefront stood Katie, who was prepared for anything that might occur. There were certain defense mechanisms this home held which were not readily visible to anyone else, but they served her with some peace of mind during such an event. She had to maintain calm here and not run, not fire and risk killing someone who may wish them no ill whatsoever. She was relying on Mike's years of sage wisdom regarding diplomacy. The ship was roughly the same size as her personal shuttle. the one that as the personal shuttle which Tully had just flown here, but it is clearly made for battle. It has guns along its wings on both sides as well as a missile bay that lay underneath the cockpit. It's a newer fighter and isn't known for making long journeys between worlds like this. It's come in slowly and has had no signs of aggression in its movements as it descends. There are questions that need to be answered. The Altilian ship should have set off planetary alarms and caused a squadron of fighters from Falteris to intercept it. Why didn't it set those alarms off for the military, or set any alarms off here? Why hadn't it set off the alarms in the military and yet it set off alarms here? Why would anyone take such a risk to journey to the home of Mike Translow? If there was an assassination mission, they likely would have fired already. What if they intend to take prisoners, and they do have bad intentions? Can the defenses Katie's relying on stop them or even slow them down? The ship lands a few feet away from Talia's shuttle. There's then a pause before the cockpit slides open and the two Altilians slowly emerge from the ship. They wait for a ladder to emerge from the side of the ship, and then they make their way down to the landing pad. One then stands next to the ship while the other cautiously approaches the three ladies. Kelsey goes against Katie's order and raises her gun. Okay, hold it right there, buddy. The Altilian stops, doesn't say a word. He looks back over his shoulder and sees that his companion has raised his weapon as well. That companion has his eyes fixed on Kelsey and he's shaking. They are strangers in a strange land. Okay, the Altilian says to his ally. There's no need for weapons. And the Altilian lowers his gun. He turns back to Kelsey. As I said, there's no need for weapons. Kelsey lowers her gun only when she sees the dagger eyes she's getting from her older sister. Fine, I'm just trying to be careful. Katie then takes control of the proceedings even with the leader of her world at her side. What brings you here? The Altilian manages a smile. I told them you would not kill me. I told them the Translows were good people and would talk to us. You see, I am Dizak and a member of the group on Altil who feel we must do something and now is the time to do it. I've never heard of you, Talia says. Dizak nods. I stay out of the limelight. You see, there's a lot of fear on Altel, and Sabal has spread that fear to historically high proportions. Many on our world died in the attack you no doubt witnessed. It was the first of what I fear will be endless attacks until my world is destroyed. So you want our help, Sharias asks. Dizak lowers his head. Where I come from, Gora gets his way, and he and Geyer rule the galaxy. We had to find you and try to ensure that this does not come to pass. Where do you come from? Katie asks. Your future, is Dizak's response. That creates a paradox, Talia points out. You would think so, but the universe is not that simple, and Gora knows it. Geyer knows it. When conventional means do not enable them to achieve their goals, they go to extremes and risk tearing the universe apart in their selfish scheme to rule all that they see. They're mad. Katie considers herself a good judge of people and Altilians as well, from what little interaction she's had with them. She tries to find any hint of deception in this alien's face, body language, or his comfort level, and she can find none. I'll need to see something that proves you're not lying, of course. I would expect nothing less, Dizak says, and he produces a disc from inside his jacket pocket. On this disc, I have all the proof you'll ever require. Shall we talk inside? Kelsey considers raising her gun again, but Katie forces her hand down. This is crazy, Kelsey protests. Time travel? Altilians here to hang out? Or whatever this is. Mike wouldn't want me to lower my weapon here. It's just too crazy. Katie runs her fingers through Kelsey's blonde hair and smiles at her. Look, this is something huge here. This is something that, if true, could be the key to ending the war between our people and his. Now, if he's lying, then you can shoot him as much as you want, and the home's defenses will take out his friend here and their ship as well. And then she turns to Dizak. Understood. I accept those terms. This is about the survival of my people, Dizak says. Then it is agreed. Katie agrees. And Kelsey puts her gun in the holster attached to her belt. The Laris sisters follow closely behind, all four ladies hoping they aren't making a colossal blunder in allowing this meeting to continue. It's never happened before, and not all watershed moments turn out to be good. Next chapter. Alan sits with John Webster on one side and Jason Marcus on the other. Carissa Dahl and Nathan Helm sit across from him as they start to fill up the room as it was intended. This, of course, was not part of the plan for Alan when he originally met with Jason here. Now, he's in the middle of the oddest meeting he could ever have envisioned. So, the future sucks then, Nathan says in a question that serves as an icebreaker after a few awkward moments of silence. Alan sighs. Well, it could be put that way, Mr. Helm. See, moving through time is a touchy subject. This future you're seeing isn't ideal for Earth, no. Altel managed to conquer the planet for the most part, and set a lot of it on fire, but we're working on reversing that. Well, we're here soon after a large assault against Altel that killed billions, John says. Alan is speechless for a moment and looks towards Jason, who just shrugs. He turns back to John. Billions of Altelians killed when? 3017, John answers, the year they originated from. Alan shakes his head. That's not possible. That didn't happen. What happened? Who assaulted Altel? How can you not know if this is the future? Carissa asks as her head starts to hurt. So there's a paradox that cancels the attack out then. I mean, there has to be if you don't know what we're talking about. Everything I know about time travel states a paradox would happen if you journeyed into the past to change something, Alan says, while his universe appears to be unraveling around him. Jason sees an opportunity to jump into the conversation. It's all theory, Alan. I mean, an attack across time is implausible, though. So how much further do we reach in the concept of history changing? Okay, let's say you send a rocket into the past to kill John Webster here. You could kill him, and that rocket would have really existed. The timeline continues with John never being born, but the rocket that hit him in the past simply isn't fired in the new timeline. You may never know why it happened, but it still happened. I really hate the sound of all that. This is all BS. Like, it changes the rules. It destroys all the rules. Makes everything possible at any time. I could be dead right now, Nathan says. Yeah, no, you're alive, Carissa says and pinches his arm, causing him to jump away from her. See? You got pinched, and you're alive. So if someone kills me in the past and I go back, do I disappear? Nathan asks as his head begins to hurt as well. It's like everyone will have a headache by the time this meeting is ended. The one reassuring point Nathan saw to this meeting was that it could clear up any confusion, and now it appeared that it would only add to the mystery. Jason laughs at Nathan's question. Kid, I don't know if you disappear or not. It's not like humans have made the trip across time and recorded history before you relics walked into the room. All I know is E215 disappeared 200 years ago and that Altel was blamed for it. There was a battle and then everything went back to a waiting game. Altel slow plays the entire war to lull everyone into a false sense of security and allow peacekeepers to believe their way of appeasement works best. You'd think history would teach them otherwise, John says. John, I learned years ago that the human race is populated by morons and the kind of people who choose not to learn anything, especially if there are facts behind what you're trying to teach them. That's why Earth is on the brink of extinction, Jason answers. We were attacked when we arrived here, so we came here. Or when we arrived there, so we came here. There really wasn't anywhere else to go, John says. I had really hoped this would lead to the answers we need to both get home and find out what happened to Altel. Is there anyone at this point in history capable of creating a weapon that could annihilate half of that planet? Jason looks around nervously. Every eye slowly becomes focused on him and he wipes sweat from his brow. Yeah, there's a funny thing there. I worked on advanced weapons and I've been working on something which might be capable of taking out a large world if it needed to. I mean, in theory it could do it. I just haven't constructed it yet. What does it look like? John asks. Jason misses Sheldon right now. He'd call for him to be brought here if he thought for a minute Alan would go for that. Alan would know it was a stalling tactic, and that's exactly what it would be, since Sheldon doesn't know anything about his weapon system either. I've theorized that the combination of immense density and tremendous momentum would create something that would be very difficult to stop. It'd have to be made of metal, unlike anything we've ever manufactured. It would then transfer its off-the-chart momentum into whatever object it struck. On a planet, it would cause earthquakes, tidal waves, and destruction throughout the atmosphere. Weapons fired on it would actually be absorbed and add to its intensity. So how would you stop it? John asks. Jason shrugs. You couldn't. Once it was fired, it would be unstoppable unless I rigged it with a self-destruct of some sort. I guess it could have something like that installed, but even if it destroyed itself, the energy released could kill everything that was remotely close to it. It's easily the scariest weapon I've worked on, but it never got beyond theory. I don't believe that, Nathan says. John, show them. John draws his handheld computer from his jacket, calls up the video of the impact on Altel. There's a close-up of the metal object, and John rewinds to that after they view the impact. He hands his computer to Jason. Is that your theory in action, Jason? Jason shudders and feels sick to his stomach. It was one thing to imagine this weapon. It was something else entirely to see it in action. Knowing how many Altelians were killed makes him feel weak, and he nearly passes out. Alan pours him a glass of water from a nearby jug and hands it off to him. Yeah, thanks, Jason says after taking a long drink. I've not made this weapon, but that's it. That's my weapon. But if the weapon killed Altelians in the past, why didn't you guys know about it? Nathan asks. There's only one answer to that. Alan says, there have to be parallel universes, alternate realities, and this timeline has your ship missing, but no mass destruction of Altel. Now my head really hurts, Carissa says, and she drops her head to the table. So how do we get back? John asks. If this is an alternate universe and we can travel through time, how do we go back? The probes might be the answer, Nathan says. We sent probes for sensor readings right before we got drawn here. If we can find just one probe, maybe we can find a mathematical way to go back. It could be like following a trail of breadcrumbs we left behind. But who would know how to do this, John asks. Maybe Dradgen. Dradgen knows, Alan offers. John straightens up. He's here? He's alive? He was last time I saw him, yes. If anyone on our side would know anything, it'd be him. Alan stands and points to John. I'll take you guys to see him. He often talks about you, John, and says you could have been a great leader in this war, could have changed the fortunes on Earth if you'd not disappeared. I think he'll be very glad to see you. John and the others follow Alan out of the conference room and towards the quarters of Dradgen, 200 years after the disappearance of E-215. So there you go. Dradgen's still alive. He's like my Spock. He's still around. And we're up to like 60 pages left.
Crazy.
And then I have to figure out where Run is. I have no idea.
Right.
I have no idea where Run is. Either that or I download part 4 and part 5 of that.
Yes, I think that's what you should do.
So, volumes 4 and 5. And enjoy them for what they're worth to the internet, which is about 200 views a day. So but hey, you know, we did this back-to-back days. That's the first for a while. Mm-hmm. And it felt like today you needed it. You had a long day with wonderful children and a sore back.
Blisters all over my hands now.
Blisters on your hands.
That one showed up so quick.
You're kind of broken.
Blisters on both my hands.
So, do you have like some sort of a warranty or
on the children?
On you.
Oh, on me? No.
Yeah.
I think am I close to my expiry date or something?
Do I have like
There's no trade-in. Sorry.
Well,
no.
I wasn't. That's terrible. That sounds so cold. I meant upgrade.
Right.
I meant upgrade, not trade-in. That's cold to say trade-in. That's terrible. Right. I just meant upgrade. Some sort of I mean, it would still be you, but upgraded.
Right.
You know. So, like when we exchange computers, we don't get mad about the old computer. We're happy for the new computer, and it's an upgrade. So, you know, I just, you know.
You know.
You know what I mean. And all of this.
I know. I haven't brushed my hair.
It's nice.
Like, no makeup
It's nice.
on. This is just Yvonne au naturel. Yep, this is it.
You know, in French, au naturel
no, it doesn't.
means
no, it does not.
In the natural of ways. It does. Means in the natural of ways. It's something that they use mostly in Alberta because with the prairie,
yeah,
it's very
all the
nature.
French people in Alberta.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Have you been to Alberta?
Yes.
Did you go to the French part?
No.
All right. Well, I did. So.
Where is that?
I'm not going to tell you. If they didn't tell you, I'm not going to tell you because it's very secretive. It's a society that doesn't allow a lot of people in, or as they say, au naturel.
Such a dork.
So, see, and maybe it's your discussions with me like that that causes them not to. My hair is
special. Wow.
You are special.
So this is what happens when Yvonne doesn't brush her hair.
It's special.
After I wash it, so.
You're so very special.
Um,
I look forward to when I have a California Golden Seals with the original logo.
The parrot?
With the parrot. That then you can wear one
parrots.
and I can wear one. And we can do live streams where we're both golden parrots.
What size are those, though?
Medium.
Aren't they huge? Yeah.
No, here.
Be a dress.
That's not a dress.
A medium
it's a
is
CCM.
most
It's not a
definitely
dress.
a dress.
No,
Well,
it's a CCM. It's not a dress.
It's a poofy dress.
See? And it's even got, it's a medium. See?
Uh-huh. Totally.
So see, I've got the white one,
Totally.
and I have not been able to
Like,
find the
only
green
goes-
one forever. Yeah.
He goes past my knees.
And the nice thing is it's sheer. So we'll get a lot of
I know.
super chats for that.
I
put
love
you in
the
the white
white
one.
jersey. The white jerseys are my favorite because
Well, no,
my
this-
bra shows.
This
through
CCM,
all
the
of them.
CCM's a different fabric than other CCMs.
It is, yeah, I see that.
So, and then it's got the neckline.
Uh-huh.
So the green one like this is going to be nice. And then I can't believe I found a blue Kansas City Scouts. I can't believe I found it because I have not seen a blue Kansas City Scouts
I know.
since that store we were in Metrotown
Yep.
that had it. And I was all excited then, but I already had jerseys coming from Ben, so I couldn't buy it. And now I've bought everything from Ben. Ben's now out of jerseys I don't own.
You have all the jerseys
So
that Ben has.
yes, I do. It's
I know.
Yeah, until the new thirds come out, which
Right.
isn't going to be for a while. So this month's, and that's the only big purchase
really
of
cold.
sorts is those two, and I'm really excited,
I'm really
and that's
cold.
going to be
Look at,
great.
I've got bumps all over my arms. I'm so
That's good.
cold.
That's
Yeah,
good. That
cold I am.
those are happiness bumps. That's because you're near me.
They're goosebumps because
You
I'm
get
really
goosebumps
cold.
because you're next to me.
It's cold.
It's from being near
I
me.
don't have a cardigan on or anything.
Well, here you could put this on, and then
Dress.
you
be
could
like
have your parrot.
pajamas.
I don't know who thought that was a seal.
I don't see. I can't see the seal. I only see a parrot.
And it's funny because it's listed as California Golden Seals, but this is the O, so it should be Oakland.
Oakland.
So I'm pretty sure this is Oakland Seals. But anyways, there you go. A little bit of a jersey thing at the end just for you fine people from the Hockey Channel. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, as we go through the goodness, and man, that's an ugly
goodness.
jersey. It is fantastic, but it's a part of the history of the
I
NHL.
can't see a seal though. I don't.
There's a seal right there. You know the French word for seal, right?
Not off the top of my head.
Sounds like the F word. So, it does.
I don't remember seal.
Yep.
So,
Because they don't
okay.
teach it in school because it sounds like the F word. So,
okay.
you basically, if you ask a French person, how do you say seal in French, they'll go, no. But yeah, I see a seal in that.
I don't.
I wonder
I
with
see
the
a
green
parrot.
on the top
Yeah,
and the green
the
underneath
parrot wings.
is weird.
And there's the wingtip.
Well, no, that's a fin, because seals have fins.
No, they don't.
They do.
They
They're little
do not.
flippers.
They have
They're
flippers.
flippers.
They don't have fins.
Flippers and fins are the same thing.
That's the parrot wings. See?
See, and this
One
is the
wing,
mouth.
two wing, and this one's
This is the mouth.
feather.
And
It's
this
the
is
beak.
no,
and the
it's
eye.
not a beak.
And here's
No.
the parrot's tail, and it's sitting on a hockey stick.
Okay, well, when I get the other one, then we can.
It looks parrot. It's very much a parrot.
It is getting to the point now where it's getting harder and harder to find the classics without having to get used ones and ones that are kind of roughed up. So I'm excited when I find them now because CCM isn't making them anymore. So when you see them, as long as it's not too much money, like somebody said, oh, Buffalo's got a sale on the white Adidas right now, which they do. They're only $131 American
American.
Plus
So
shipping.
That's like
to Canada.
shipping. Oh my gosh. American shipping right now.
So
So
Yeah.
that would be over $200.
and when you're shipping through a US or through an NHL store, they normally won't ship to a post office box either. So
Nice.
it's this whole mess
That's
trying to
fun.
get something shipped for, and I don't want to do it. So
My hair
I
is
won't be
just,
getting
this
it.
Is
looks
awfulness.
fantastic.
Nope. This is really bad. My hair is also this way.
Ophtalmo in French.
It's not a thing.
Ophthalmo.
There we go.
Ophthalmo. That is the awfulness in French.
No, it's not. You're making crap up.
I'm not making stuff up.
You are too.
No, I'm not. All right. Thanks for watching, and we will do this again probably in 3 or 4 weeks, something like
I'm
that.
such a brat.
No, we'll do it again soon. Promise.